everyone, Michael Perryman here with MVP Therapy, and I want to welcome you back to my Movement Monday series. So, today I want to talk to you about muscle contraction, and a lot of times I'll get asked questions either from patients or just from other people, and they'll ask me, what's the best way to work out? Should I concentrate on negatives? Should I concentrate on pulling exercises versus pushing exercises or vice versa? So I thought I would take some time today and talk to you about the three different types of muscle contractions and advantages and disadvantages of each one of those. Well, as I said, there's three different types of muscle contraction. There is an isometric exercise contraction, an isotonic, which has two phases, and there's also an isokinetic, which has those same two phases in the isotonic. An isometric exercise is really when the muscle is contracting, but there's no shortening or lengthening of the muscle. So, a great example of an isometric exercise is a plank. A plank exercise, all the muscles are contracting to support the core, but there's no really shortening or lengthening of the muscles. Other examples might include, kettlebell carries or just carrying weights. In fact, long time ago, way back in ancient times, isometric exercises were kind of the primary way people used to work out. They used to just carry crap all over the place. But then as science has progressed and as we've learned, we realize that it's important to push things and to pull things and to do those things. So that's really what an isometric exercise is, just where the muscle contracts, but there's no shortening or lengthening. And there's really some great advantages behind isometric exercises. First of all, isometric exercises, they help to burn fat. They help to improve strength. But one of the great things about isometric exercises, and for people like myself who are therapists and other people that work in any kind of rehabilitation field, isometric exercises are great because they help to improve motor control and proprioception. Now, what is motor control and proprioception? Really, motor control is when the brain asks the muscle or the body to do a specific action, and your body responds by not only performing that action correctly, but it also responds in the appropriate amount of time. That's what really motor control is. Proprioception is really just knowing where your body is in space just without even seeing it. So I can put my hand over here behind me, and without even looking, I know where my hand is because there's receptors in the joints that are relaying messages back to my brain and telling me where my body is in space. And it's when it comes to exercising with and advantages and disadvantages of isometric exercises is that really there's a lot of advantages. Like I said, it improves strength, they improve, they burn fat, but they help to improve motor control and also proprioception, which is why it's great for rehabilitation. Now, there are disadvantages, like I said, to this exercise or to this type of contraction, because when it comes to making strength gains or when it comes to strengthening a muscle will only strengthen itself in the position it's called upon to generate force. And so when you think about exercises, sorry, my computer is freaking out on me here. When it comes to exercise, and you, let's just say you're just only contracting the muscle in this position, well, you're just going to be strong in that position, and so whenever it comes to exercising, and I see this in the gym a lot too, and this is just kind of my little tidbit here because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I'll see people just doing bicep curls just in this position. Well, when you think about when it comes to muscle, only is stronger when it gets stronger in the position that it's called upon to generate force. Well, if you're only generating force in this position, the muscle is going to be strong in this position, but if you get it down by your waist, it's not going to be so strong. So whenever you're working out, always work within full range of motions. That's really, really super important. That way the muscle is strong throughout the whole range. Um, Now, when it comes to isotonic exercises, as I mentioned, there's two phases. There is a concentric phase where the muscle contracts and the muscle gets shorter, and there's also the eccentric phase, and this is where people call it negatives, and that's where the muscle is contracting, but the muscle is actually getting longer. And a great example of this is maybe in a bicep curl. So you start with the weights down by your side, and as you're pulling up towards your shoulders, the muscle's getting shorter. That's concentric phase. As you lower the weight, you don't just drop the weights down and let them just swing down there. You control the weight on the way down, and as the muscle is contracting to control it, the muscle is also getting longer, so that's the eccentric phase. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to both phases, and the concentric phase has quite a bit of advantages. First of all, it does help to build strength, but it's not your primary, it's not where you'll get the most strength gains from, but it does help to build strength. But more importantly, it helps to build mode-specific exercises or mode-specific skills, more importantly. So if you're trying to build skills where you're trying to learn how to squat better, or you're trying to learn how to throw or jump or whatever it is, concentric exercise or concentric contractions really help to build those skills. The other thing that it helps to do is it helps to concentric exercises or concentric contractions really help to generate power and speed. And so obviously there's some great benefits behind concentric contractions. The disadvantages is that it takes twice as much force to generate the same gains as you would in the eccentric phase, and that's why people like to do the eccentric phase. A lot of times the people say I should just work out in negatives. Well, if your goal is to just gain strength, eccentric exercises or eccentric contractions will definitely get you there. You certainly will gain a lot by just doing those. When it comes to the gym, again, though, it's almost, and really when it comes to the real world, it's hard to just do eccentric exercises. Think about it with the bicep. To do just the concentric exercise, you would either have to use momentum to where you're not getting a whole lot of muscle contraction to get it up to the top to where you can do the eccentric phase, or you would have to have someone just hand you the weight while you're in this phase, and then you lower the weight down. So when it really comes to isotonic exercises, really doing both, in my opinion, is the best way, because as you're concentrically contracting, you're getting some strength gain, you're building those mode-specific skills, and as you start to lower the weight down, now you're really to help improving the strength gains in that muscle group that you're working. So try to work in both, but again, make sure you work in full range of motions. Don't work in shortened range of motions. As I mentioned also, there's also the third phase, which is called an isokinetic contraction. An isokinetic contraction is just like the isotonic. It has the concentric and the eccentric phase. The only difference is that in an isotonic contraction, the speed can vary. So you might come up really fast and then lower slowly, or vice versa. When it comes to isokinetic exercises, the muscle contracts, but the speed stays the same. And so you're lowering and contracting at the same rate. And there's advantages, really, with the same advantages and same disadvantages apply to this type of contraction as well. It's just that there's more, the speed is really constant. I hope this helps out with your exercises, and whether you're trying to decide whether or not you're going to do concentrate on negatives versus other things. But really kind of my takeaway with this is that not only do you know the benefits and the difference between the muscle contractions and some of the advantages and disadvantages, but is really to always work in the full range of motion. That way you're building the strength throughout that full range. Secondly, now if you're trying to concentrate and you're trying to build mode specific skills on certain things and you're not really concentrating on strength, well, maybe you should just work more concentric exercises. If you're trying to do strength, then concentrate on more negative stuff. But in my opinion, if you do both, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're not only getting power and speed and mode specific skills, but you're also developing strength. So in my opinion, it's best to kind of do both exercises. Again, my name is Michael Perryman with MVP Therapy. Thank you for watching my Movement Monday series, and until next week, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And also, Christmas is next week, so I just want to take a quick second to wish everyone a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and hope you're spending it with time with your family and loved ones. Hope you get lots of great things. Hope you've been nice all year, or maybe even just a little bit naughty. That's not bad either. But yeah, anyways, till next week, have a great holiday, and we'll see you in a week.